Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is Staffer Reborn. It's a sequel to Staffer Case. I finished it yesterday, even the last side quest. And this one is supposed to be quite short, I believe, like much shorter than Staffer Case. Probably still won't be able to finish it in one sitting or one stream, simply because, like, even though I think some people on Steam have finished it in 2 hours, but since, you know, this is a stream and streaming, I have to read stuff out loud and also, like, you know, make my very ingenious commentary, so that's gonna slow things down. But let's see what we get. "1890s. When I came to, I was already lying in a pile of mud. Already the 6th time. No, it might have actually been the 7th. Looking at the holes that had been drilled through my army cap, I realized I'd already died a number of times, and I'd been revived after each death. Maybe it was some grand joke that God had played on me, but I had the ability to come back to life. From the moment I discovered that ability, I started running into enemy fire, shooting blindly as I did, and dying on repeat. After a few hundred times of doing that, suddenly there were no more enemy soldiers in front of me. When I looked back, I was a war hero. That was only the beginning. So which war was that? After that, I took part in 5 more wars, and I received 4 medals of honor. My deaths numbered in the thousands, but for every one of my deaths, I killed 2 of theirs. He's like, you know, FPS player in real life, my entire lifetime. I was a cycle of death and resurrection on the battlefield. But even now, that comes to an end. Maybe he's dying of old age and it won't even save him anymore. Or I guess he's gonna keep dying and being reborn. Yeah, that sounds painful, so... And we probably have to help him or something. 1960s. Why isn't it 1960X? Daddy? Lieutenant son. Oh, it should be Lieutenant, since we are in Britain, right? At least in the first game. My vision is growing dim, and even the voices of my children calling me scatter like a mist. True death has come for me. Finally. Even I will be able to sleep that long slumber. Finally. What I've been hoping for this long time. Death. Where'd everybody go? Who's this who stayed behind? Nurse? Is that you? My apologies. I'm no acquaintance of yours, so I guess this is Sergeant Redfins from the previous game, I presume. She's on the lam, running from the UK authorities. Then who are you? Where are my children? Where's the nurse? Are you the Grim Reaper? No, not yet at least. In fact, I'm an inspector, so to speak. Inspector Clisel. An inspector? What's going on here? Lieutenant, you've been through this very situation hundreds of times. The scene around you changes like a film, but the process is lost to your memories. Lieutenant, you're unable to die. That's why I'm here. Did I come back to life? Are you saying I even come back after dying of old age? Yes, and you'll die of that once more in about 15 minutes. Then you'll come back to life again, though your memories will be erased. For about 3 weeks now, since the 22nd of this month, you've been repeatedly dying and coming back to life. 3 weeks. Your final memory, the one of your son and your daughter standing over you, that happened 3 weeks ago. That just happened. You're saying it's a memory from 3 weeks ago? And as a side effect of my coming back, I lost 3 weeks of memories. No, more importantly. If that's the case, when will I finally be able to die? I'm not sure yet. There's a good possibility your inability to die will stretch onto eternity. Don't be ridiculous. Just end it already. Kill me. Kill me. This makes me think of I have no mouth and I must scream. Sort of similar kind of stuff. Was it meant to be this way? God wouldn't give me the ability at zero cost? This never made sense from the very beginning. To think the dead could come back to life. Actually, it's not exactly what you think it is. Huh? Your case may be quite novel here, but where I'm from, it's not uncommon for people to have peculiar talents. We call these people staffers, and they're able to bring their abilities under their control and carry on with life. Lieutenant, your ability to resurrect is no God-given miracle. We call them skills, and yours is one of a number that follow a strict set of rules. Still boring to call them skills. If we figure out the rules that your skill follows, we may be able to break this chain of death and resurrection. In order to discover these rules, we may need to resort to radical methods. And of course, there's no guarantee we'll succeed. But if this is what you desire, I promise to give it my all. Death is nothing special for me at this point. Doesn't matter what you do with this body of mine. So, please let death take me just as quick as you can. Then I'm on the case. Thank you. Where'd everybody go? Who's this who stayed behind? Nurse, is that you? Are you the Grim Reaper? Yes, of course. Lieutenant, for you. I will become the Grim Reaper, come to grant you a natural death. This is, like Rincewind, who became death for 5 minutes in Discworld 2. Theme continues. I can't stand here any longer. It's already been 2 hours. Sir, I have to ask you to have some patience and give her a little more time. I'm sure the inspector is doing everything in her power to save your father. Or she's doing everything in her power to get money she made me sign over. Damn, right when I heard she didn't want payment in advance, I should have known not to hire her on. I think he's taking this concern way too far. But it would be good if he knew what sort of person the inspector was. I'll go have a look and report back. Regardless, it's time to switch out the IV bottles. Let's start with a proper save. Excuse me, it's just me, the nurse. Almost said the curse. Please, come in. Nurse, who is this woman? Her hair looks quite big. But I do like her hat. It's very stylish. Where'd my children go? No need to worry, sir. They're both waiting outside. If you'll just rest for a moment, they'll be right back in. Right, I see. Sorry to disturb you, I just need a moment. Changing out the IV bottles? Rough work. That it is. How's your job coming along? Well, I just finished my preparations. Preparations? Are you joking? Sir, it's already been 2 hours, and you're just finishing up the preparations. I remember no time constraints in the contract we signed. If I save your father from his death, you pay me $100,000. That's quite a lot of money if this is the 60s especially. Our contract only consisted of that single line. Right, only one line. But I can still fire you at any time I'd like. Fine with me. However, do you have any other inspectors willing to take on your case? Just get on your feet and get to work. So there's no one else who's willing to try. In order to do this, I'm gonna need a few things. What things? You're not going to say you need money, right? Of course not. Just a few simple items. I'll get them for you. What do you need? First of all, I'll need a knife and a gun. Also a nice pen that works, or a pencil if you wouldn't mind. Are you insane? Do you not have one? Then I'll settle for everything besides the pen. You think you're being funny? Are you planning a murder? Sir, you've got to calm down. She's probably just got an idea. At least I certainly hope she does. Damn it, nurse. Do what you will then. I'm not playing any more of her games. If you want to continue how you see fit through, if you want to continue how you see fit through, you're gonna have to prove your skills first. My apologies. Please understand he's just doing this because he cares deeply for his father. He may be prone to getting worked up and saying things, but he set aside all his work to stay at his father's side. Yes, it certainly seems that what you say is true, but I slightly suspect the reason he has for staying close. For the writing utensils you need, I can give you my pencil. For the knife and gun, though, I'm afraid I don't have those on hand. If you're able to prove your skills, the lieutenant's son may allow it. Can't be helped. Shall we start with this then? What are you gonna do with that? First, we need to figure out his skills connection. Connection? The lieutenant's skill, his supernatural ability, and its simplest form, resurrection, though resurrection skills can be separated into two main types. Regeneratively connected resurrection and temporary connected resurrection. I guess like regenerate his body or like sort of turn back time, I guess. Generative connected resurrection is a skill that accelerates cell division in order to restore the body to condition it was during in life. So you can think of it like a planarian, yes? If that were the case, there would be differences in his body before death and after revival. Temporally connected resurrection, in contrast, is quite different. There would be almost no difference in the body before and after regeneration. In the end, it's like turning back time before death, before death, and that's how the skill works. Most resurrection skills fall into the regenerative connected category. However, with the lieutenant here, I suspect we may have a case of the latter. Thus, I was first planning to verify which type the lieutenant falls into. And that's that's the pencils for? Correct. You can stay and watch if you like. So, Lieutenant, let's begin. Our goal is to end this cycle of repeated deaths. So, first of all, as gently as possible, we'll have to kill you once or twice. Time to death, 15 minutes. Certain actions take 5 minutes to carry out. If you press pass some time button on the top left, 5 minutes will pass. Once the time remaining hits 0, the lieutenant will die and his memories will reset. First and foremost, let's try out the pencil on the lieutenant. Do we just click on the lieutenant? Okay, we can talk or use the pencil. Circle, triangle, star. Right, was this PlayStation controller? I know there's no star, but... Excuse me? Pay me no heed, just talking to myself. Now, Lieutenant, if you'll stay like that for a moment. Hey, Agent Oberhertz, welcome. Well, it's only 15 minutes, and I'm a bit... I don't know if I'm late or early with my stream today. A bit unusual time. Usually it's earlier or later. But yeah, this is... So there's a guy, old guy, who keeps dying and resurrecting, and we have to break the cycle. The cycle of resurrection, not death. Good drawing. As expected, the X was the simplest. What are you doing? Huh? You think a star would have been better? Ah, okay, so the mark. Okay. That's not what I meant. I'm just wondering, why are you drawing on the lieutenant's face? Didn't I explain it before? I'm seeing if the lieutenant's resurrection is regeneratively or temporally connected. Yes, I remember that part, but what's that to do with the drawing? Well, if you give me a moment, you'll find out. Pass some time. Okay, again. 15 minutes have passed. The lieutenant has been revived by his skill. Yes, I've already seen this hundreds of times. Have you? Then you should see what's changed immediately. Excuse me? What's changed? What do you... Take a look at his face. Nurse, where are my children? Who is this woman? A drawing on his face. As expected, it's temporal. Does it mean, like, I guess the regenerative could have... Well, okay, it's basically dirt, so yeah, I guess. The cards on the suspicious space has been revised. If this was simply regeneration due to cell division, there'd be no reason for the mark I made to be gone. So this is the temporal connection you talked about. You're a fast learner. That's correct. The lieutenant died and then his body returned to its state at the present time. That's why the mark I made disappeared with it. That also explains the phenomenon he's experiencing, where a certain amount of memories are lost with each regeneration. As his brain is returned to its previous state, the gained memories are erased. To put it in bureau terms, this is resurrective temporal regression. So he goes back 15 minutes. Bureau, that's the institution that controls people's superpowers, huh? I heard once that they operate in places where supernatural powers are commonplace. And that same institution classifies skills like these using their defining characteristics. Jason Lieutenant Ludlam. First skill name, next range. Since the lieutenant's regression seems to affect only his own body, we can just write down under 1 centimeter. Finally, we have the condition needed for skill activation. It's rather dated term, but we can call it a catalyst. Lieutenant's resurrection skill is triggered by the death of his body. That's for the basics needed for a proper bureau file. Whenever characteristics don't fit into the boxes are detailed at the bottom here. In the lieutenant's case, those characteristics include on a resurrection, memories disappear. Normally I'd have to fill this page out top to bottom, but since I've got nothing else right now, we'll just fill this in one line at a time. Inspector, I can see now that you're well versed in these supernatural abilities. It seems you are the right person for whatever is going on with the lieutenant. If you break down his skill like this to figure it out, Is it going to be possible to put a stop to this phenomenon? I'm not sure. But if we are going to put a stop to the lieutenant's never-ending cycle of death, we'll need a cause. There's going to need a general understanding of his skill. That's what I think, at least. These skills seem to defy the existing laws of physics. But that doesn't mean they make every possibility possible. The range conditions to trigger a skill and so on, they show an existing set of rules and limitations. The lieutenant's skill will have its own set. Finding out what that is should give us a clue that could allow us to stop this repetitive loop. But for that we're gonna need some tools. By tools you mean the knife and gun you mentioned before. Correct, could you procure them for me? Mine were confiscated on arriving here. I'm under the direction of my employer. I can't be handing out weapons under his roof. Also, even if I were so inclined, I mean, I do understand your position. You can't just be handing out guns to people you just met. Sorry, it's quite alright. It's much less interesting, but it seems we'll have to start with our peaceful options. Peaceful options? To be perfectly frank, it's much less flashy than it sounds. It just means we'll have to resort to conversation for a while. Nurse, could you tell me everything you know about the resurrections you've witnessed? Also, I'd like to get as much as I can from the lieutenant. That won't be a problem. From what the doctor says, he'll only got a few days left. Yet under these conditions, he's maintained his right mind to an unprecedented degree. Though, I'm not sure that's the best news for him. I would have to disagree. Just maybe. What we're about to hear from the lieutenant could be the thing that saves him. So, talk to him. Hello, Lieutenant. Who are you? Of course. Would you believe if I told you I was the Grim Reaper? Did I has finally come? Yes, basically. Excuse me, Inspector, if I may. Yes, what's the matter? Why are you lying to him? I've been talking to the lieutenant for the past 2 hours, but explaining the situation properly to him, that takes a considerable amount of time. Our conversations stretch on, and before you know it, the lieutenant has died, resetting his memories. Thus, I need to hurry our exchanges along as quickly as I can. Yeah, and you're slowing us down. The Grim Reaper lie has proved to be the quickest way of achieving that. It also makes the lieutenant quite cooperative. I'd appreciate it if you consider this a bit of inspector wisdom on my part. About your resurrections, Lieutenant, you have the ability to revive after death. Regarding said ability, could you go into a bit of more detail? The first time I ever came back from the dead was precisely 70 years ago. It was my first time stepping foot on the battlefield. Our goal was to take the beach, launching a surprise attack on the enemy. As we approached the drop point, I remember not thinking about anything in particular. I simply kept rank and followed the soldier in front of me. But then suddenly, a shot rang out, and that's when the fear took over. Everyone took off running like mad men, and I followed suit. When I came to my senses, I was played out, staring at the sky. What was that? He died? Precisely, though it took another 10 deaths or so to realize that. People with strange abilities. I'd heard that such people were used as tools, but I never thought that would happen to me. Staffers only started appearing in large numbers about 50 years ago. Okay, so it's like 1910. So thinking that back then was only natural. It was quite a strange miracle that happened, but of course I latched onto my new ability back then. I can only remember thinking one thing: I've got to use this ability to survive. I raised my gun and started firing. Running as I did, I must have died dozens of times after, but when I really got a hold of myself, there wasn't an enemy soldier all around. Suddenly, I was a hero. It's like hearing about a legendary character from some mythical story. Nothing quite so grandiose. Heroes in real life, they're just another means to win a war. Well, I'm not sure if that answers your question. It does, but there's one part of your story that sticks out to me. Lieutenant, it seems like you leaned on this ability to revive and used it as a blitzkrieg tactic. But after reviving, were there not bullets or other shrapnel in your body? There were. They gave me quite a bit of grief too, but compared to the amount of times I died, there weren't as many bullets as you'd expect. It seems perhaps that most of them passed straight through. I see. Before investigating Lieutenant's skill, I want to find out more about him as a person. Perhaps that'll serve as the key to unlocking this whole predicament. I should have a talk with the Lieutenant, get a good look around the room. There's something among the things I investigated before that concerns me. Temporal regression. Okay, investigate this room. Find safe. Come to think of it, nurse, would you happen to know the code that opens the safe on this wall? No, but I imagined the lieutenant would know. Huh? But the safe is... Inspector, I do hate to say, but I believe that safe is normally hidden behind a painting of a landscape. Oh, I got rid of that. It was in the way. Indeed. I guess asking the lieutenant for the combination would be the fastest method. I should hurry and ask him for the combination to get this open. I'm not sure why you want to open that safe, but if he allows it, I won't get in your way. Safe. What's the combination to safe in that wall? My safe. There's nothing much in it. Yes, I see. So what's the combination? Why, the Grim Reaper's got to know the combination to my safe. Yeah, that's a good question. That's rather suspicious. It seems that when a person asks about a safe, things take a turn for the real. I think it's quite natural response. There's no reason the Grim Reaper would be curious about the contents of a safe. Good point. To be curious about the contents of a safe, I'd sooner be a thief. But you did say there wasn't all that much in there, so why not just tell me? Get the hell out of my house before I call the police. Favor points. Doesn't look like it's gonna work. That throws a spanner in the works. Seems that mentioning the safe brings him straight back to reality. Seems that I also lose favor points with the man. Favor points? If I were to get in the man's good favor and ask, he may tell me the answer. But what's a favor point? Don't worry about that. The only important thing right now is figuring out the combination to that safe. Honestly, I'm not sure how opening the safe has any relevance to what's going on. Maybe they're actually just to rob the guy. Who are you? Where did my children go? That marks another 15 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again? Okay, let's look around. Would you mind if I check the drawer of this vanity? Sure, knock yourselves out. Actually, I already looked. The only thing there is a picture album. Are all inspectors like this? Have you ever looked through that album? No, I knew it was in there, but I didn't peruse because I thought it would be rather rude to do so. Great, then we can take this chance to peruse it together. Since he loses his memory, the favor point should restore as well. Yeah, that's what I'm sort of assuming, because it would be weird if they didn't. But I bet it doesn't work that way. I guess we'll find out eventually. This child, from the hair color, I don't think this is his daughter, so probably his son. His son, the lieutenant's son who was giving me a loud scolding before. So who's the girl? She's his older sister. She's out on business right now, but before the lieutenant got like this, she was always helping me out as earnestly as she could. Do they have any other siblings? No. The lieutenant married so late that he must have had his son when he was nearing his 50s. I see. So 1920 is when the son was born. Looks like a picture of the son and daughter when they were children. From the fact that they're wearing school uniforms standing in front of a school, they must have taken this one during their school's orientation or some other event. Oh, it's school uniforms. Are they in UK still? Because then it's like, because I sort of think they might be in America, because I think on the Steam, like, you know, Steam page for the game, I think it mentioned they're in America. Are there some schools in America with school uniforms? Then that would make the woman in the picture their mother. I never had the pleasure of meeting her, but seems so. I also remember taking a picture with my parents in front of my school on my first day. Is that right? I envy you. However, I don't see the lieutenant in this picture. I wonder where he was. So 1926. So he's like 6 years old. So is this the sister? 1935. So she's like, maybe she's 20 here. This is something I heard, but apparently the lieutenant's wife passed away from an illness when she was in her 50s. This must be her in this picture. Okay, it's the wife. Yes, I do believe so. This must be the last picture they took of her. The picture next to it seems to have been taken on the same date, but the mood in this picture is completely different. It is like some rape gang. That's a picture taken with the lieutenant and his troops. The lieutenant is the man in the center with a neatly trimmed beard. You can recognize him that easily. The impression I get of him is now quite different. I've seen this picture before. He seemed quite old in this picture. It looks like he went off to war then too. He was no ordinary soldier. He went off to battle well after the age of his retirement. Heroes are a different breed. Well, regardless. Serving in the military at this time must have meant he was able to be with his wife during her final days. Okay, so this, yeah, the same day, alright. 1940. This looks like the lieutenant with his son. I see they are able to have a picture taken together. It also seems the lieutenant's son worked hard nursing his father back to health. This is the first time I've seen him like this. Honestly, it's quite surprising. In truth, the lieutenant never held his son in a very good light. Regardless, seeing him at his father's side till the very end, he's quite a devoted son. Yes, it's quite admirable of him. Who's this in the picture? I don't think it's the lieutenant's son. I see some slight differences in their appearances. Then someone even you don't know? Yes, after all, I haven't worked here for that long. I see, under normal circumstances, I'd say it's quite likely this is some secret child he's been hiding away. Or, I don't know, war buddy. I don't think that's what we're seeing here. Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before, but it's not the old guy himself. Is this like Jesus? Finally, I'm starting to see the lieutenant I know in these pictures, and the person next to him, the young lady, that's the lieutenant's daughter. He went back when her mouth is weird. Back when the lieutenant was in good health, the young lady would come by to see her father about once a week. The lieutenant seems to care for his daughter very much. Does she live close? No, not really. She lives a good 2-hour drive away. Quite a devoted daughter. I haven't seen her around though. As I said, they were very close, which only makes the situation harder on her. Fortunately for her, the lieutenant's son said he'd take the first shift watching their father, so she's returned to her work. I see. From what you're telling me, they seem to be like the perfect family. It's just the two of them here, but they sure do look happy. The lieutenant adores his daughter. So in his will, oh, silly me. Pretend you didn't hear that. Interesting. Oh, but of course, absolutely. I was just thinking, like, he's died many times, so the will should, like, the stuff should go to the daughter then already. But of course, it's hard to prove that he's died. And he still lives. How does the law work, actually, in a case like this? Like, does it say upon his death or when he's no longer alive? Because usually, you know, there are, you know, one leads to the other, but not in a case like this. From her voice, it sounds like she'll make it a point to never forget. That's all of the pictures then. Thank you, I wouldn't been able to make heads or tails of those pictures by myself. So that's what you want to do, look through the album together. I'm not sure how much of a help this is gonna be, but I should at least jot down a few notes about what I learned. Alright. And it took no time, okay. Notepad. Investigate. Is this notepad for recording the patient's condition? I don't know. I didn't bring it. I think it's been here since yesterday. There's nothing of interest written on it. We can use our looking past abilities on it. Now at least. Excuse me? If you look at the top edge, there's a sign that the page has been ripped from it. You're right. You think someone wrote something here? The remaining pages have pressure marks from a pen. If you know the way, you can tell what was written on it before. Okay, let's use the pen on it. You know, every time you write on a notepad, you leave faint impressions behind. From those marks, you can make out what was written before. Normally, it'd be better to use a few tools of the trade, but let's go ahead and use this pencil to restore the message. When I lay the pencil flat like this... Are you gonna color the page with a pencil? I did that quite often when I was a student. Indeed, similar idea. Looks exactly the same to me. The technique is different. But you shouldn't press down that hard. Oh, and you should lay the pencil flatter. Give it here. I'll do it. You've got to color it in lightly, then the writing jumps off the page. Just to clear things up so there are no misunderstandings. I normally use more professional means. Right. However, I'm clearly not used to such amateur methods. Of course. Here, all done. Good work, showed up quite well, despite not using any more my professional methods. Yep. Sad I couldn't see your professional way of doing things firsthand. This woman's surprisingly quite annoying. Be sure to show you next time. Well then, shall we see what the note says? Okay, investigate. So if you take a look at the notes written here... Looks like a list of numbers. Was someone jotting down some numbers? Remember. Like 0101X 02250. Are they playing like tic-tac-toe or something? There are numbers marked with X and numbers marked with O. Does that mean they were correct and incorrect numbers? Okay, that's only used in Asia, like, you know, X is wrong and O is correct. I don't think that's used in wherever we are in the West. Nurse, what comes to mind when you see this? Sorry, from one look at it, nothing rings a bell. As expected, well then, shall I take a guess? Thinking about what I've looked at so far, there may be something that connects. In logic mode, you must use the combination recorded thus far to combine clues. Select the information you need now from the incident report and press Combine Clues button. Any of the red text is selectable. Okay. It's written in a notepad. Someone's memo. Okay. Wait, no. Logical, yes. Okay, album pictures. Start notes. Do they match? January 1st, so I guess. Yay! Mystery solved. Here it is. What? That's the photo album. Look here, check the numbers on the notepad and those in the album. Notepad, don't you see? I do. Is that the numbers on this notepad are the same as dates in the pictures of the album, yes? Indeed, a reasonable assertion. But why would someone go to the trouble of writing all this out? Plus, what do all the marks mean? No way to know. However, it may be good to talk with someone who does know. After all, the person connected to all these pictures is right here in front of us. Who are you? Where did my children go? That marks another 15 minutes past. The lieutenant has revived again. Well then, shall we start again? I guess talk. Hello, Lieutenant. Who are you? Grim Reaper. I see. The day has finally come. Okay. Photo album. Well then, which picture should we ask him about? Let's just do it in order. January 1st. You spent January 1st, 1953 with your daughter, yes. It wasn't just 1953. I've spent most of my life, most of my time with her lately. My daughter came to visit me on her every holiday there was. I bet she wanted to leave an old man like me behind and spend time with her own family. But I'm thankful just the same. I doubt your daughter's family would share your sentiment. Perhaps, but one thing's for certain, I was never the sort of father to deserve this good treatment. Okay, so that took 5 minutes to ask about that. Okay, we can't even ask January, so February 21st. Time to lose more favor points. I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe some of these pictures might lose points. February 25th, 1926, that's the date I saw in the picture of your wife, son and daughter standing in front of a school. I didn't see you in that picture though, maybe he was taking the picture. Of course not, I was in the army then. Back then, I thought those events they attended and pictures they took were just for keeping up appearances. I thought as long as you held love in your heart, that one day it would be delivered to your loved ones. A ridiculous sentiment looking back. I barely had the time to look them in the eye, much less say a word to them. It's a miracle that my daughter had stayed by my side this long. I figured she'd sooner toss me out with the trash like my son did. So we got favor points from that. But yeah, the favor points, like they raise from 1, so does it actually, like they don't reset when he dies? Photo album. July 15. July 15, 1940, you fell ill and your son nursed you back to health. From how he tells it, my memories from that time are a bit fuzzy, so I don't remember much about the nursing part. My daughter said he nursed me back to health, but I think that's only because she looks after her brother so well. From the actions of that boy of mine these days, to be perfectly frank, I don't much believe him. Okay, favor went down. Feels like I brought up the wrong subject. I think the wrinkles in his face have gotten deeper. Okay, who are you? Where is Okay, Grim Reaper. She's starting to phone it in. Okay, now, so February 25th raises the favor stuff. How about October 30th? October 30th, 1920. Do you remember what happened on that day? My apologies. I couldn't tell you. That was over 40 years ago. That was the day your son was born. Is that right? Well, as you say, it was a long time ago. It's not out of question to fail to remember the exact year something happened. No, it's just that even when you say it was the day my son was born, no particular memories come to mind. I couldn't tell you the date my son's birthday, let alone the year he was born, though I clearly remember the birthdays of my wife and daughter. Maybe the son is, brought to existence sort of in the way that Doug could bring items into existence in the previous game. That'll do it. No, I wonder that boy views me as the enemy. Oh, okay, so he liked that. So numbers 2 and 4 are plus favor. December 24th. Just a few years ago, you took a picture with your daughter. In that picture, you looked so happy. My daughter is a kind person. She always thinks of me first. How did I manage to raise such a kind kid? She clearly takes after her mother. Compared to her, that boy of mine, well, he normally keeps quiet until he needs money. What's even the point of talking about it now? It's only gonna make me uglier when I eventually become a corpse. Where does it show the XOXO clue? Can we click it? Yeah, maybe it shows which gives like favor and which doesn't. Okay, that lost favor. Well, that didn't seem to have a good effect. Seems like the gaze has grown colder. Yeah. Here it says, I guess the O's are the good ones. So December 25th. So it's 2 and 4 and is it 6? Good. December 25th, 1935, Christmas. Back then you were serving in the military. And at the same time your wife, yes, she was in critical condition. A few days later, I received a letter telling of her passing. Do you have any regrets? Do you wish you could have been there? Of course I have my regrets, but my true regret is not having paid heed to the children she left behind. If I had, things between my son might have been turned out differently. Yeah, so instead, my wife's passing only drove me to fight even harder on the battlefield. Why did someone make notes about this? Was it us back in time? It's probably something like that, yes. So I guess we're gonna find out there's more to this case than simply trying to kill this guy. But why after all that? Why this obsession with war? This may be me overstepping my bounds, but you don't seem to carry much pride in fighting for your country. In war, I thought I could achieve things I wanted. I was young and dumb. These aren't exactly the stories I should be telling the Grim Reaper. Who are you? Where did my children go? Yeah. Lieutenant, do you think he'd immediately believe in such ridiculous thing as a Grim Reaper? I had no idea he was so spiritual. It's not that odd. From his point of view, I've suddenly appeared in front of him. Plus, people are bound to believe what they want to believe. Does that mean the lieutenant has been wanting to die? Maybe even before becoming like this? To me at least, it certainly seems that way. So that's something he should like.
今まで私のそばにいてくれるのは奇跡だよ。むしろ息子みたいな関係。
How can we get this to?
どの写真について話しましょうか。1935年。
Like to the maximum, like to 5.
もしかしたら息子との関係それなのに私は
どうしてそこまで。失礼かもしれませんが
愚かだった死神の前で言う話
Okay, let's I don't know if it matters if he but he's gonna die right now, right? Guess this wait no okay, let's see which one is that. October 30th. Yeah, that should be good, right? July 15 is this one. Yeah, okay. Yes, January 1st. Yes, and December. Yeah, so it's October 30th. So yeah, favor points 5. Nurse, are you there? Yes, Lieutenant, I'm here. I have a favor to ask of you. My will is locked in the safe in that wall. Please get it out for me. Ah, okay. Excuse me? But Lieutenant, it's not only the two of us here. I don't really care if the woman next to you is Grim Reaper or not. There's something I need to do before it's too late. The combination safe is 0412. Is that another date? April 12th? What happened on that day? That day. It was the first day I died. Nurse, where'd you pop in from? Where's my daughter go? No need to worry, just rest. We got lucky. I never thought we'd get the safe combination directly from the lieutenant. Where'd the change of heart come from? All you did was look at the album and talk about the past. In looking back at the past, we changed something about his perception. You mean his perception of you? No, probably someone other than me. Someone from the photo album. Maybe the son. Now that we know the combination, we don't need to wait any longer. I've unlocked it. Huh? What's the matter? Nothing. Just reminded of a certain someone. Is it a reference to Athena? Because she could hear the sound, the clicks. Last will and testament. Inside there's a will, just as a lieutenant said. It was only written 3 weeks ago. That's when he started dying. Is it before or after? If you're just gonna skim it like that. Huh? What's wrong? Is this not it? No, this is the lieutenant's will, alright? The handwriting signature is, however. I may be mistaken, but the contents are a bit different from what I remember. Well, I think it would be best to check out with the person who actually wrote it. So, do we have the... Oh yeah, it's the threat level even, SDN. Okay, I should ask Lieutenant about his will, so yeah, it's just... Excuse me, about your will. Lieutenant, please have a good look at this. Shave the game just in case. Alright, let's shave. shave, and now I feel like Sean Connery. My apologies, but could you bring it a little closer? My eyes aren't what they used to be. Of course, this is my will. Is this some sort of a joke? The signature and the handwriting are mine, but I didn't write this. To think I would will my property equally between my two children. Who would ever will an inheritance to such a disrespectful brat? I made it clear with my will that everything is supposed to go to my daughter. Hack. How did this happen? Suspicions page. I see. That's using your brain. Excuse me. Maybe it's actually the daughter who is sort of framing the son that for something. I don't. Well, if he's not, I don't know. Well, we'll find out eventually. Something the matter? No, it's just a second ago, and only for a second, her voice grew so cold. Did she figure something out? What do you think you're doing? Sir? Yes. Why did you open the safe? Excuse me, that was right on cue. Excuse me. Didn't you say that if I wanted to continue how I saw fit, I'd have to prove my skills first? Let me show you then. So the wheel was altered during the minutes he can't remember. Yeah, most likely. That's how it looks like. But was it the son? He's the obvious choice, or the daughter, or maybe somebody else, or maybe the nurse isn't as, innocent as she pretends to be. Maybe she's actually the illegitimate daughter of the guy or something. Anyway, let me show you both the work I'm doing and the secrets I can uncover. Now, let me fill you in. It's just a feeling I'm getting. Or was there certain hostility in the word secret you just used? Just a feeling. Is there any phrase with less meaning than that? When people want to skirt around their true intentions, they always claim it was just a feeling. I'm not sure if this is just a feeling, but this is what I'm thinking. Someone brute forced algorithm until they had the desired result. Yeah, sort of what I did to get him to open the safe. The note we restored is evidence of this. Yeah, you're right. The wheel that was in the safe right here, I think you put it in there. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, don't tell me you're falling in love with the words of the charlatan, are you? I'm sorry, but when you saw the safe standing open, you certainly did cause quite a scene. I left a stranger in this room with my father, only to come back in and see the safe wide open. Even though you've been standing right here next to her. It's perfectly natural to lose my temper about that, isn't it? About that, I do apologize. Well then, the lieutenant put that will in the safe himself. Is that what you're claiming? How am I supposed to know that? But if it's the will you took from the safe yourself, wouldn't that make sense? Think about it. That safe is my father's, and only he knows the combination to it. Who else do you think put it in there? Well, he might have, yeah, he's told the combination to somebody else, probably. At the very least, I'm sure it wasn't the lieutenant. You're giving me a headache. Is this really so complicated? How simply should I put this? No, it's not complicated in the slightest. Take a look at this paper. What of it? It's a list of all the suspicions I've had while investigating this room. I never asked for a list of suspicions. I just want an answer to this ridiculous situation we found ourselves in. Suspicions can at times be answers to other suspicions. For example, was it the lieutenant who placed this will in the safe? To answer that question, one only needs to look at this line right here. So, why was it not the lieutenant who put the will in the safe? The lieutenant's son claims it was the lieutenant himself who put it in the safe. Normally that'd be understandable, however, we can't exactly call the situation as it stands in this room normal. The lieutenant's son should know that too. At the very least, I can be sure that the lieutenant didn't put his will in the safe of his own accord. Among the information we gathered so far, there's one thing that proves it to be true. Lieutenant didn't know about the will. So easy. So, what do you see written here? No need to stick it in my face. You mean my father never knew the existence of this will? Yes, before you burst into the room, I let the lieutenant read the will. He said he had written one, but he also said that the contents of the one he had written were different. Specifically regarding the part about how his assets were to be divided. Of course. And what? Am I supposed to take you at your word? Just look at the state of him. He's been dying and coming back to on repeat for 3 weeks now. You think someone like that's gonna be in his right mind? Wasn't it the doctor's own opinion that your father was holding on to his wits to an unprecedented degree? It's also been 3 weeks since he was here. In all the time since then, my father's been in a constant agony of dying and coming back. I don't know about these supernatural abilities as much as you do. But in the process of dying and coming back like this, isn't it natural to think that his brain cells were getting damaged? No, actually, no, that's not the case. You're right there. You know next to nothing about supernatural ability. It's just, like, you're right there. He's right that he doesn't. I like, she's being such a bitch. Regarding these supernatural abilities, these skills, I'm a pro, so let me show you a professional's opinion. The lieutenant's condition is exactly the same as it was 3 weeks ago. That's because of the temporal resurrecting. Temporal regression. Yes. This is the lieutenant's skill, his supernatural ability. I recorded the details about the skill on the page myself. Normally we refer to this as a person's bureau file. You sure have been thorough. The important part is the name of the skill. Resurrective temporal regression. Do you know what that means? How am I supposed to? Right, of course not. Let me kindly explain. Resurrective skills are largely divided into regenerative, connected, and temporally connected skills. The possibility you mentioned of your father's resurrection causing the mental damage, that's normally a phenomenon caused by the physical means of regeneratively connected revival skills. However, the lieutenant's skill is temporally connected, meaning we're looking at something closer to his body returning to the moment before sustaining his critical injury. Thus the probability of what you claim happening is extremely low. But extremely low still isn't 0%. Even you, Miss Inspector, can't be sure, can you? Correct, I cannot say for certain. But considering the fact that he could recall events that happened decades ago, I can say it's as close to 0% as can be. What do you know about my father? Did you meet him before he became like this? Well then, let's ask someone who did. We'll ask the person who's been watching him closer than anyone else. Nurse, have you noticed anything mentally wrong with the lieutenant? Me? Yes. Think hard before you answer that. If I were to give my honest opinion, what should I say in this situation? The lieutenant is in exactly the same condition he was in 3 weeks ago. Nurse! With that, the likelihood that the lieutenant put that will in his safe is even closer to 0%. That begs the question then, why was the will in his safe? Of course, the will you are referring to had something written on it that is quite favorable for me. So you're suspecting me for this, isn't that right? Seems like I can leave the detective work for you. If that was only a guess, that is. So what are you trying to say? I wrote the will? Is that what you are getting at? You think I changed the contents of the will and forced the signature? Is that it? My good sir, I think you already knew exactly what I was gonna say. I have no idea what you mean. With this new will that suddenly appeared, you, the largest benefactor, would need to prove its validity. You would need some sort of insurance. And you need to be quite confident in said insurance. Let's return to our point then. Who wrote this will? If we take a look at this section, the answer is clear. The lieutenant's son asked me to name the author of the will. It's quite obvious what thoughts led him to ask such a question, but of course I know exactly who wrote the will. When I look at the will and think of what the lieutenant and his nurse have said, there's only one answer. It includes a clause giving 50% of the entire inheritance to both son and daughter. Every word, including its signature, was written in the lieutenant's handwriting. The document is dated for 3 weeks ago. Okay, I just want to see what happened. Okay, we point to the wheel. I was thinking we actually have to. Well, there's only one person in our document. Like we could point to the patient himself. Anyway, the person who wrote the will is clearly the lieutenant himself. What? But what? Signatures and seals can be forged with enough time and technique. He seems to want me to point that fact out. However, this will was entirely handwritten by the lieutenant. Even for a skilled con artist, writing this out longhand in the lieutenant's handwriting is close to impossible. So the person who wrote this will is none other than the lieutenant himself. Then what was this whole conversation about? Should I use this time to apologize? So what are you saying we do? This meaningless conversation is a waste of my time. Cut it out with this drivel. Get back to work. My good sir, I'm afraid my drivel isn't quite over yet. You should know that as well. Don't you call me that. I'm not your good anything. It's clear that the lieutenant wrote this will himself. However, that doesn't make it valid. After all, it was written of your volition. Isn't it true, my good sir? I said, stop calling me that. I apologize for raising my voice. But I'm sure that even you know how ridiculous the nonsense you're spouting is. You say the will had to be written by my father. Now you're saying I made him do it? How might that be possible? Do I look like an expert in brainwashing or some sort of cult leader to you? No, you don't look nearly that imposing. However, the lieutenant is experiencing a rather unique set of circumstances. Using said circumstances, it could be possible for you to bend the lieutenant's will to your own. However, it would take a bit of trial and error. And the proof of said trial and error is right here. Okay, so you were right, Agent Double Hertz, I think. He brute forced it with the restored notes. That's a bit too gamey. This notepad is yours, no? No need to be on your guard. There's nothing written here. I mean, sure, it's probably mine. So we restored what was written on it. What? And it was our kind nurse who did the restoring. Excuse me? Sorry, sir. This notepad had a record of all the dates of the pictures in his album. I asked the lieutenant about the dates on these pictures. A photograph is merely an object that connects us to our memories. Perhaps it's that and the death he's on the verge of, but he gave quite emotional responses. However, there was one interesting thing. When I asked the lieutenant about the days with X's there, he got quite upset. On the contrary, when I asked about the dates that were marked with O's, he expressed his regrets regarding his past. Rage and regrets. The object of both of those feelings was you. When I talked to him about the only dates that were circled, he even asked for us to retrieve his will. It's like he wished to make some changes. A father who wishes to forgive his son right before his death. Quite a touching tale, if it were a coincidence. What's that supposed to mean? My good sir, the lieutenant said that his original intentions were to bequeath nothing to you. Such an arrangement didn't sit well with you. Thus you tried to persuade your father, only to end up angering him each time. In the end, with your name absent from his will, the lieutenant grew closer to his passing. But then suddenly he entered into this never-ending cycle of death and rebirth. As the cycle repeated itself, it was hard for your sister to remain here with you. Thus you sent her back home and decided to stand watch on your own. You thought it might be just the opportunity you needed. That's where things stood, with your father's memory resetting every 15 minutes. That was your moment when you could persuade your father with no one to interrupt you. You didn't even need to worry about the slip of the tongue that might dirty his memories of you. First, you picked out all the pictures in the album that were able to sway his emotions. Then you used those dates to begin to persuade him. Wait. This is not related, but then use the days to persuade it. If the guy, whenever he dies, he goes back 15 minutes, could we actually make him go back in time? If it just keeps stabbing him. We kill him and he goes back 15 minutes, then we kill him immediately, then he sort of goes back, let's say it takes 1 minute to kill him, then he goes back 14 minutes, if you do that long enough, could we make him much younger or something? Does it work like that? You marked all the dates that elicited negative responses with an X. And marked the ones that elicited positive responses with a no. Finding the ideal memories for you to use. Finally, in the short span of 15 minutes, you changed his mind. And succeeded in getting him to alter his will. Now, in order for the will to take effect, you need to end things as they stand. You called in an inspector. An inspector who could kill your father. I'm telling you, you should have been a novelist, not an inspector. I think I found a plot of it. Let's see if they actually thought about it, because if we get our hands on the gun and the knife, maybe we can try something like that. Oh, you don't like my line of reasoning? Right, let's say it's as you put it, and I exploited my father's current state to alter his will. Then the will must have been written sometime in the past 3 weeks while my father's been like this. But go, look for yourself. See when the will was written. March 22nd at 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, I think that's when it started. March 22nd, 3 weeks ago. The lieutenant became like this. However, he started his resurrections around noon that day. 8 in the morning was before he got like this. Does it mean he poisoned him somehow and he started dying? By the way, don't even start about how I tricked him about the date or anything. After all, it was you who just said his mental state is perfectly fine. I don't know about tricking him about time, but tricking him about 3 whole weeks is out of the question. Surprising. We revealed everything up to this point, yet you still think you can move past this. The date on the wheel, huh? I'm sure it says it was written 3 weeks ago. But we all know why that is, don't we? Is it forged, the date? You think is that obvious? Yes, if you don't remember, I can show you again. Right here. This is the reason why the will is dated 3 weeks prior. Is this the... see if it's this one. No. Uh-huh. Good achievement. Uncover the sun's secret. I explained it before. But the lieutenant's resurrection resets his physical body to a form in the past. Thus, all his memories are also reset to the time before his reanimation. My good sir, you also used that fact when you had him rewrite the will. No, because the lieutenant wouldn't have remembered. Every 15 minutes he dies, and his memory is reset to 15 minutes before. You should understand the implications of that. From the moment he started this cycle, he remembers nothing new. The lieutenant's memory came to a standstill at the moment 3 weeks ago. Thus, it's obvious why the lieutenant would write a date 3 weeks in the past. Ah, yeah, because he thinks it's that day, okay. Actually, the fact that he wrote a date when he began the cycle of revival proves that he rewrote the wheel while he was like this. You know why that is, my good sir? Yes, what of it? Sir, did you really? Yes. The will is my fabrication. My sister was to get everything. I wouldn't get a penny. Does that make any sense to you? My business went under, so I need this cash now. I merely took advantage of the situation I was placed in. He's thinking like a true boomer. Wait, he's not a boomer. He's older than that, because this is 60s. So what are you gonna do? Report me? What a righteous inspector we have here. You think I would? If I reported my own client, I wouldn't be able to collect my fee. At the current juncture, I'm no detective seeking justice. I'm just an inspector who makes money and solves requests. What? Then why all this? Because you weren't straight with me from the beginning. Because if I wanted to continue how I saw fit, I had to prove my skills first. I had a feeling that my client was suspicious about my skill level. Skill issue, so I just wanted to give him a taste. Yeah, makes sense we put it like that. I lost. From now on, I'll support you any way I can. Tell me what you need. I told you what I needed from the outset. Knife and gun, if you would. Alright. What sort of knife do you need? The sharpest one you can find. Nurse, I remember you having a scalpel. Yes, I have a few in here. This should do nicely. Next is your gun. Just return the one I took from you at the door. However, I'll be holding on to the bullets. It goes without saying, I'll have a hand on my own gun as well, so don't go getting any weird ideas. Of course not. I'll only be using it to solve your request. Outstanding. Thank you for your cooperation. I was worried since the gun is too weak for self-defense, but it may be appropriate for this situation. Maybe we have to just, scare him, or, I don't think the guy would be scared of a gun, maybe more like, I don't know, excite him. Considering the way she used the pencil, I imagine she also used the gun in a rather unusual way. There's no way she's gonna point at a person, so what's she gonna do with it? Okay. A +1 favor for the character. She learned from Thena. Calm down, the blood's already gone. The blood that spills from his body is still part of his body. So what about it if the opposite were true? What did you I didn't want to believe it, but you actually asked for a gun to shoot my father. Of course, what other use would I have for a gun? As the skill is related to death, a tool that would intentionally bring about death is the most effective way of investigating it. But is this really okay? I already received permission from the lieutenant. He's forgotten now, but if I were to explain it to him again, he'd give me permission once more. Regardless, he's gonna die again in 15 minutes. This just brings about the same result a bit quicker. You can say that, but still, something about this feels wrong. Yes, wrong in the right way. Can you really take the values inherent in death and make such light work of them? The values inherent in death, a blade through an artery, a bullet through the brain, a spoonful of poison, these are killers, no matter how great the person or how strong. These are great equalizers. That is the value inherent in death. The important things aren't decided when we die, but when we are among the living. Death only marks the end of that. The value of death is determined by the life that comes before it. That's what I think, at least. I hope that's a satisfactory answer. Besides, the lieutenant looks perfectly fine for someone who was just shot. Of course he revived. That's a given. No, the bullet didn't pierce through his head. His body merely returned to how it was before. Thus the bullet should still be lodged in his brain. If that were so, he wouldn't be this coherent. There's still some special characteristic about his resurrection that we haven't figured out. Okay, I guess we should talk to her. We haven't... Shoot her! Shoot her! Ask what you will about the lieutenant. Would you tell me what you know about your employer? He is perhaps the most renowned soldier in this neck of the woods. Where exactly is the bullet now? Yeah, I think we have to figure that out. Like maybe it teleports to another dimension, or like, disappears altogether, because maybe because it would get in the way when his, body reverts. So I think that's probably what happens. But anyways, his most renowned soldier in this neck of the woods. I heard that not only 20 years prior he went to war and served his country. His room is quite modest for someone of such stature. I don't see any medals on display. I was also quite surprised by that at first. He served his whole life in the military, but he almost never brought up his life as a soldier or his time in the wars. Then what did the topic of conversation normally lean toward? At times, family. Family? I wish I could learn more about that. Speaking of which, there's something in the drawer I found during my investigation that pertains to family. Okay, it's just the book. How about herself? I started working here about a year ago. Back then I was in quite a bind after leaving the hospital I had been working at. However, the lieutenant and my father were close friends, so he ended up hiring me on. How did your father come to know the lieutenant? My father was also a soldier. They even served together at one point. Served? Yes, they went to war together. Then your father is also quite a patriot. That's what everyone tells me. Honestly, in my eyes, my father is just my father. Oh, he's dying. My father has resurrected once again. That doesn't surprise me at all anymore. In fact, it's actually quite bothersome. Isn't that right, nurse? No, Inspector, what's the matter? It hasn't been 15 minutes yet. Yeah, I was thinking it should be still like 5 minutes. Huh? But he already died. Have we broken the cycle somehow? This is good. It's a very good sign. What do you think caused it? We can know for certain. If I had to guess, though, something about my being involved in the death of the lieutenant probably caused this to happen. I have my ideas, but it would be dangerous to say I have a confident grasp of the situation. We should continue the investigation. Okay, let's talk to this guy. The image of him, like the chibi image, is quite the irresponsible one. My father, he always put going to war and killing people over his own family. Yeah, he should have started killing his own family if he really cared. I don't know if he was just lost in the patriotism of it all, or if he genuinely enjoyed playing part of the hero. Whenever the situation allowed for it, he was off to fight. That's all there is to know about my dad. That's not very helpful by itself. Are there any unusual facts you know about your father's skill? Even with such vague questions as that, I got nothing for you. You think my father died around the house often? Before all this happened, I only saw my father resurrect around a dozen times. Only a dozen times. Personally, I would say that's quite a lot. I know very little about supernatural abilities. You are the expert on that. Speaking of which, I heard that the institution that manages these superpowers ranks them based on the threat they pose. What rank do you think they placed on my father's ability? That would need a more systematic investigation of it, but possibly STN. STN, is that the one that gets a red marking? Yes, that's right. That's the highest threat level. I guess that would make him as dangerous as a tank. I heard that in countries with many instances of superpowers, they require those with abilities to wear bracelets by law. Something to show how dangerous they are, right? So if my father had been born in such a country, he'd have to wear a red bracelet. Yes, STN ranked staffers have to wear bracelets with a red light on them. Most of their outdoor activities are also heavily restricted. So do we have the bracelet still? Ah, that's a laugh. Over here, you're born a hero, but over there you're born a monster. No, actually, if it weren't for the war, my father may have been treated like a monster as well. In that way, I guess he was sort of lucky. Now, instead of telling stories about distant lands, I'd like to hear about story about the lieutenant. Well, nothing comes to mind. Well then, I should show you something to jog your memories. Was there something else we could ask? But yeah, this image is so silly. Okay, it's the same. Can we skip it? It seems like he also has the memory of, forgets everything in 5 minutes. Hint? No, not yet. Okay, how about we scalpelize him? So using the scalpel, I'll slice his neck. I handed that over, but as for the reason why you need my scalpel, are you perhaps gonna have to look inside his body cavity? Pardon? That's not a bad idea either. His ass? I'd like to do this in a way that's as painless for the lieutenant as possible, but we'll try that incision next time. As expected, it's not very different from the gunshot. No, that's not right. Look here. The end of the blade disappeared. So yeah, I guess it takes anything like foreign away when the, time respawn thing is triggered. At the time of his resurrection, all foreign entities are purged. It seems a bit grandiose of a claim, but saying they cease to exist or simply evaporate seems to be correct. That must be the reason why it wasn't painful for him on reviving from that gunshot wound. The bullet in his head disappeared on his revival. Okay. See if we shoot him. What are you gonna do? Pointing a gun at you. You know I have the bullets, right? That's why I'm relaxed despite holding someone at gunpoint, no? Well, I'm not at all relaxed, so put that away. So even though you saw the chamber was empty with your own two eyes, you still feel threatened by it. Yeah, you are not supposed to point a real gun at anyone unless you want to shoot them. She's... she should know that. Are you that scared of death? Who isn't? I thought there might be someone out there, but today has changed my mind. Even the man who's experienced death over 100 times is still scared of it. He desires death more than anyone, yet he still fears it. Indeed, it certainly seems that way. No, again he died before the 15 minutes were up. Why on earth is this happening? That's our job to figure out from here on out. What we know for certain is that once I started killing him myself, the timing between his resurrections was derailed from his normal pattern. For now, let's continue our investigation. I've got to kill the lieutenant in as many ways as I can. Okay, that sounds like fun. It's like Stairmaster or something. Okay, can we kill him with the pen? Shall we go with something more realistic looking this time? You really have to draw on him again. No. Then would you kindly desist? The next let's... No, you said you don't need to anymore. Okay, then can we... Wait. But is this broken now? So using the scalpel, I'll... Of course, no matter how many times I do it, the results are the same. Tip of the blade disappears. Be better if you didn't waste too many like that. Okay, so she gives a new tip. Okay. Got a limited number of scalpels. If you don't have enough, we can always go buy more. How much are they? If you buy them individually, they're about that much. Nothing wrong with living frugally. So let's save what we can. About your resurrections. You have the ability to revive after death. Regarding said ability, could you go into a bit more detail? First time ever going back from the dead was precisely 70 years ago. That's my first time stepping foot on battlefield. Okay, I think it's the same stuff.
何も考え突然銃声が聞こえ気がついたらはいそうだおかしな能力を考えたことただ銃を撃ちいつのまるでそんな現実の親それよりそうですね注意あなた復活後の体に弾があったよ多分わかりました
Okay, he's dying again. He died before the 15 minutes were up. Why on earth is this happening? Okay, how about now we just wait for him to die? Who are you? Where did my children go? 15 minutes passed. He's revived. Okay, should we shoot him one more time? Well then, should I shoot? Where should I shoot this time? Ah, okay, shoot him in the leg. Okay. We need as many results to this experiment as we can muster. This time then, it might be good to change where we're shooting. Sorry, Lieutenant, just hang in there a bit longer. You'll soon forget the pain. Shall I stop the bleeding? No, just let it be for now. Now, let's just see if anything turns out different. Okay, let's let him bleed out. He's resurrected. So this time... Yeah. Sir, what's the matter? My leg. It's okay now. It's bearable. Even after resurrecting the pain, regardless, it seems something has changed. Okay, let's see. Foreign substance. Once I got involved with the death of the lieutenant, he began to resurrect before 15 minutes had passed. Why is our resurrected lieutenant now in pain? Can we ask him about it? No. Okay, can we shoot him again? Let's shoot his... Let's shoot him in the leg and then shoot him in the head. I just like, you know, a game that encourages or forces you to do stuff like this. This is fun. And it's not like moralizing you about it. Just hearing that makes you sound like a psychopath. So he won't remember this, but I still like to make his death as painless as possible. Okay, makes you sound like a psychopath. This is the 60s. It wasn't so common. Well, maybe this movie Psycho just came out, so I guess. No, the behavior matches up with the psychopath too, actually. With this, the lieutenant has been revived once more. And yeah, his HP was minus 50 for like a second. My leg. Show him this. You're gonna stab me with that? Of course not. We won't cut the belly of the goose that lays the golden eggs. It's quite embarrassing, but also in a hurry to get laid, I mean paid. Honestly, sounds good coming from you. What are you gonna do when you get the money? Good question. I'm sort of on a holiday now. I guess first I'll get to my destination and find a decent room. Your destination? Certain hometown. You're heading back home. I guess she wants to go to New Mexico, to Notrix hometown. No, it's not exactly my hometown. It's the hometown of a person I know well. I'm unable to see that person right now, but so I wanted to head there instead. Then we should hurry up and deal with this mess, right? Of course. What are you planning on pointing that pencil at me? I was thinking that very thought. It's been very useful thus far. I don't think this pencil will be any more help to our investigation. In fact, the only use for this pencil is now to annoy you. What's the point of annoying me, though? Point is, well, first and foremost, it makes me feel better. Consider me annoyed. That does feel good. Okay, get a room. Again, he died 15 minutes before 15 minutes were up. Why on earth is this happening? And that's our job to figure out from here on out. What we know for certain is that once I started killing himself, the timing between his resurrections derailed from the normal pattern. Okay, my leg. So his leg is still hurting. Okay, what if we shoot him in the leg?
今度はどこをできるだけたくさん今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのが良さそうです。すみません。いえ、さあ、果たして
And then
何か変わっ
cut
たで
his
しょう。
slice his throat.
それじゃあ、
Ah, cut open his leg.
そこに刺すん
Are
で
you
す
really
か？
gonna stab him there?
殺
If
す
you're
のが
gonna
目的
try
な
to
ら
kill him,
さ
it'd
っ
be
きみた
better
い
to
に
go
首を刺した方が
head like before at the neck.
好戦的になってき
You're
ました。
becoming quite belligerent.
ええ
Indeed,
おかげ
and
さ
I
ま
have
で
you to thank.
残念ですが、
You may not like this,
今回
but
は
I'm
殺すつもり
trying
は
not
ないです。
trying to kill him this
残
time.
念だと思った
I'm
こ
not
とはあり
completely
ませ
opposed
ん
to the
慣れ
idea.
てきたみたいで
Good
何
to
よ
see
り
you're
です。
getting used to it. If you
で
said
きれ
all
ばこの
possible, I would
際
appreciate your help
看
with
護
this
師さん
job,
に
nurse.
周囲の皮膚を
Could you make an
切開してい
incision
ただ
right
け
here
ます
on
か？
there, Lieutenant?
え
Excuse me,
いえ
no, I
手伝ってやりなさい。
help her. You're the medical
君も専
professional,
門家だ
no?
ろ？
うーん
I
そ
am.
れじゃ
Well then,
この辺を切
would you
開
make
して
an
くれませ
incision
ん
right
か？
here? Yeah, how does like Hippocratic oath and stuff apply here? Like, whatever. I
さ
don't
っ
want to
き
go
銃で
there.
撃ったところです
When
か？
you
わかり
where
ま
you
した。
shot him right before. All right.
どうしてこんなことま
Why
で
do
し
I
な
have
く
to
ちゃい
do
け
this? Huh? It's rather small, but there's a
内
wound
側の
here
傷の中心
at the
にあるの
heart
は
of the wound.
ここ
Here, it was
これが
left
体
inside
内
his
にな
body.
銃
A
弾
bullet. That's the one I fired
私が
just a moment
少し
ago.
やはりこの銃弾の
As
成分
expected, this
苦
is
し
what
そうに
was
してい
causing
た
him
という
pain.
こ
I'll
とで
make
し
a
ょう。
note of that.
メモしておきます。
Maybe let him die now? Who are you? Where's my
また
children?
15分過ぎたんですね。それじゃあもう
Okay,
一度始めましょうか。
now his leg isn't hurting, right?
それじゃあ今度はどこをできるだけ今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのが良さそうです。すみません。いえ。さあ、果たして何か変わったでしょう。
Let's try
さあ、それじ
slice
ゃ
his
あ
neck.
このメスやはり何度繰り返しても同じですね。
Of course, no matter how many times I do it, the
刃の
results
先
are
が
the
消えま
same.
す。
The tip of the
あまり
blade
無駄に
disappears.
しない
Be
方が
better
い
if
い
you
と
didn't
思う。
waste.
足りな
Yeah.
ければ買い足せばいい。
そ
Okay, yeah. Leg. Can we
さあ、それじゃあこ
cut
のメ
his
スで
leg now open?
申し訳ありません。
Just
少し
hold
だ
on
け
just
こ
a
こ
little
に
bit more. There's another
ま
bullet
た銃
here.
弾があります。
やはり
Of course, on shooting him in the leg, the
銃弾
bullet
がその
remains the
まま
same.
妙ですね。
This is quite odd. I
撃
knew
つ
it
場所を
changed where
変
I
えただけで
made my shot,
こ
but
う
it
なる。
turns out this is different. I guess because this, the leg shot doesn't kill him, but the headshot kills him. No,
もしかすると
where I
重要な
shoot
の
isn't the important thing.
「それじゃあ今度はどこをできるだ今度は撃つ場所を変えて
Shoot
み
the
るのが良さ
leg.
そうすみません。いえ。さあ、果たして
Oh, he died. Again, he died before 15 minutes were up.
なぜこ
Why
ん
on
な
earth is
そう
this
ですね
happening?
はっきりしているのは私が注意をとりあえず調査できるだけいろいろ
Shoot him in the sun. I tried it already.
さあ、それじゃあ
申し
He
訳
cut
ここ
open
に
his
やはり
leg.
妙ですね。撃つ場所を変えただけでこうなるなんて。それじゃあ今度はどっ記
Shoot
憶
him
が
in the
残るわ
head.
けでは
言葉だけ聞く。いや、子供
Wait, I thought his leg. There shouldn't be anything in his leg.
それじ
申し訳ありません。ここに
やはり足を妙ですね。撃つ場所いえ それじゃ今度はどこを撃ってみましょうか。
Shoot him in the...
できるだけたくさん今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのも良さそうです。
maybe you should keep shooting him in the leg.
すみません。いえ。とさあ、果たして。
Again he died
な
before.
ぜこんなことが。
そうですね。はっきりしているの。とりあえず調査できるだけいろいろ。それじゃ今度はできるだけたくさん今度は撃つ場所を
What if we just keep shooting him in the leg?
すみません。注意。いえ。さあ、果たして。
If we now
何か変わったでしょう。
shoot him again in the leg and he dies from the leg shot, does it take away the bullets?
今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのも良さそうです。さっきは
I
左
just
足
shot him in the left leg, so he'll
今度は右足に
the next in the right
そ
then.
れから
Who are you? My leg. Left leg, it hurts. Word, I shot him in the leg, but he died regardless. But I avoided his vitals. Seems he couldn't handle two gunshot wounds.
頭に撃った時と
Didn't look all that different from when you shot him in the head.
外見上
From the outside, it certainly seems so. There doesn't seem to be any differences in which area we
ないと
shoot.
見
He said his left leg is hurting him. First things first, we need to make a note of it.
メモして
My leg.
それじゃ今度はどこをできるだけたくさん今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのも良さそうですね。すみません。いえ。さあ、果たして何か変わったでしょうか。さあ、
申し訳ありここに
やはり足を妙ですね。いえ。
He died.
そうですね。はっきりしてとりあえず調査できるだけいろいろ。
Okay, what if we take out the bullets?
申し訳ありここに
やはり足妙ですね。いえ。
Okay, let's pass the time.
蘇生しまし
He's
た。
resurrected. So this time, why is his leg still hurting? Like, can't we remove?
それじ
申し訳ありここに
やはり足妙ですね。
Or does he have like a million bullets there? Like we have to cut his leg open many times.
それ
申し訳ありますここに
やはり足を打った妙ですね。いえ。さあ、それ
申し訳ありますここに
や
How many bullets are there?
妙ですね。いえ。も蘇生しましたね。
Resurrected.
さあ、
申し訳ありここに
やはり妙です、ね。
How many like? Is there something wrong, or did I shoot him so many times in the legs? There's like a
申し訳
infinite
ここ
amount
に
of bullets.
あ、妙ですね。いえ。それじゃ今度はどこできるだけたくさんの今度は撃つ場所を変えてみるのが良さそうです。すみません。注意。いえ。さあ、果たして
So
何か蘇生しましたね。
can we somehow combine these? No, there's no correlation between the area shot and the bullet disappearance. I think it's when he dies, like. I should ask Lieutenant Sun about his father. Didn't we haven't asked her about these. Would you mind pointing that blade somewhere else? Sorry, why are you pointing it at me now? I can't very well point it at myself, can I? Put that away. So childish. She's much more mischievous than it looks would have you think. Is the whole game about killing this guy? I think so. No, I haven't done anything yet. Weren't you about to draw on me? I was. No. Alright, next time then. Next time you also get a no from me. What are you doing? Nurse, there's something you haven't told me, isn't there? What? What are you saying? Something you're hiding. Hiding? What do you mean? Are you really gonna be like this? Alright, just put that away. Good idea. What do you want to know? Actually, nothing at all. I just figured since I have gun now, using it like this might help me get a clue. Wow, I'm sorry to disappoint. We should have never given her a gun. We asked about those things already, and yeah, this is the same stuff. Can we like shoot it like a ricochet bullet or something? If I shot that safe with this gun, do you think the bullet would go through the door? I think we give the bullet a rough time. It's safe after all. No, it's not that expensive as safe, so it could work. Then shall we conduct an experiment to see whose opinion is correct? No, don't. Just joking. Can't be handling a gun so recklessly, right? There are so many ways I want to respond, but I don't want to continue this conversation. I think she might actually shoot it. This knife is sharper than I thought. I applied a bit of pressure, but it cut through 50 pages. Of course, that's for slicing through a person's skin. If you're able to use a blunt blade during surgery, it's not that the patient who's bound to get hurt, but the doctor too. At times, blunt blades are more dangerous. That's what you're trying to say. That may not be speaking strictly about surgery either. She seems to enjoy a good turn of phrase. So I just shot him in the left leg. Next we'll do it in the right. Left leg. Should we still shoot him? In the legs, I mean. What if we cut open the leg and then use the pencil on it to, I don't know, leave some graphite inside the wound or something? Oh, he died. Now it's not the left leg, it's only the leg that's hurting.
申し訳ここに
やはり妙ですね。いえ。
まだ絵を描く必要。それじゃあ
それじゃ。
いえ、もう必要ありません。
以前。
A long time ago, I once used a pencil to crack open a safe. Is that so? Indeed, after dusting for prints with graphite powder from the pencil, I found which buttons the owner of the safe had been pressing. That's an interesting approach. Impressive. But this safe doesn't have a keypad, so that method won't be of much use. True, unfortunate though, indeed. What was that about? Strange conversation to be having. View all interactions with the pencil. Achievement. So we can't use the... would you mind helping with something? Okay, the pictures. Okay. I'm pretty sure I told you to stop calling me that. When it comes from out of your mouth, it sounds sarcastic. Sorry, but really, could I get a hand? What do you need me to do? It's simple. You know of this album, yes, of course. I'm the one who put it there. I'd love to hear a bit of explanation of the pictures here. The moments you took part in. So you should know more about them than the nurse. Let's get this over with then. The man in this picture isn't you, is it? Of course not. Then is it perhaps a secret son of your father's? I'm starting to regret hiring you on again. That's my father. Yeah, I thought so first, but then they started talking about other people. It's a picture of him when he was young, before becoming a hero, when he was still sort of human. That version of my father. I see, so that's where the odd resemblance to you comes from. I don't agree, but those who knew my father when he was young say the same. You were pretty cute in this one. What are you trying to imply? That you're not at all cute now? Mind your own business. Even on a day such as this, my father wasn't with me and my mother. So you remember the moment you were born? My mother told me. She was so proud of my father, the patriot. So I went along with that, with what my mother said. At least until she passed away. Sure were cute back then. What are you going on about? What on earth happened to you? Please, just mind your own business. It's a picture from my first day of school. Even then, my father was nowhere to be seen. Still, you had your mother. I'm jealous of that at least. Your parents didn't take you to your first day of school? I didn't have a first day of school. Don't dig too far into that. Not a great memory. I wasn't even curious. Actually, I guess I might have been a little curious. That was the last picture we took of my mother. 3 days later, her symptoms took a turn for the worse. I'm sorry. I didn't want much. I just wanted him to be at her side at the moment. My father was playing war then too, though. I wouldn't say it's play when he's holding a real gun. No, it was a game, when you can whip your gun around all you like because you can't die. If that's not play, what is? I guess he's got a point there, but at least his, friends can die. I don't know if it was a patriotism or something else, but my father played at war as often as he could. I'm only sorry for the soldiers who went off to die next to him. Yeah, exactly. The others can die. My dad struggled with his fevers for almost a year. That was the last time I had any hope for my father. It was the only time my father was home long enough for us to open up to each other. Dumb thing to expect. The next year, he was off to war again, even though the military was reluctant to have him since he was so old. Despite the long conversations, it seems that whatever you hoped to get across never did. That's not the important part. My father doesn't even remember me at his side, nursing him back to health.
それはどういう意味ですか？
What do you mean? You know how my father loses some of his memories when he comes back to life. Back then, the fevers took him before he came back to life again. Interestingly, he lost quite a number of memories from that time. Ah,
どれぐらいだった
how many? About a year's worth of memories. When he came to, he thought he was back in the battlefield.
こんなことを言っては失礼かもしれません。
This may be a bit rude, but what you say is interesting. Would you
メモ
like
してもいいでしょうか？
mind if I made a note of it? Do what you will. After all, everything you said could be taken as rude. That's true.
それじゃ
Well then, without another moment's hesitation.
何の音ですか？
What's that sound?
警察です
The
ね。
police. I mean, I discharged the weapon,
こ
so
う
it's
や
sort
っ
of a
て銃を
given.
どうして人事
How
みた
can
い
she
に言うん
talk
だ
as
ろ
if it
う。
wasn't happening to her? Shit. I go downstairs to explain. You two stay here. Don't even think about coming
警
down.
察の前に
Are you going to take your gun and bullets down to meet them too? Damn it, you're right. Nurse, I'll give these to you for safekeeping.
はい。
Of course. I'll be right back. So don't move a muscle.
ちょうどよかったで
Perhaps
すね。
perfect timing. Now we can return to our conversation. What do you mean? Did you learn something?
何かというよりは
More than something, I've learned everything.
それじゃ
Then
あ、
shouldn't we
お坊ちゃん
wait
に
for
もいら
him
し
to
て
get... No,
この
this
話は
talk is gonna
坊ちゃんがいない時に
go
した方
much
が
easier with just the
ス
two
ム
of
ー
us.
ズに進みます。
Right. My son woke up. Okay, my wife is taking care of it.
とりあえず今まで分かったことを
Let's
まと
start
めて
by
みましょう。
organizing what we learned thus far. Nurse, if you would
ご協
work with
力
me
をお
here.
願いします。
はい。
Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Had to get some milk for the little piggy. So, let's get started. The first item on our agenda. What happens to the foreign items in the lieutenant's body when he revives?
それは
Didn't we figure
さっ
that out
き分かっ
before?
たんじゃない？復活するときに
You said
体
the
内に
objects
残
in
って
his
いる
body
物体
cease to
は
exist,
消
or
滅するって。
just the two of us, you and I? Isn't that some song?
看護師さん、
Nurse, that's already quite the outdated hypothesis.
え？
Excuse me? Didn't you say that only a few minutes ago?
そもそもいい探
Good
偵という
inspector shows no hesitation in smashing through her own hypothesis.
ええ、
Okay, you're sure giving me quite the education. So what happened to the tips of those blades and all those bullets? Fantastic question. In truth, that when the lieutenant revives, foreign objects in his body do cease to exist. However, not all foreign matter disappears. Yeah, like some of the bullets. From my recollection, it seems that there was an exception to the disappearing substances. There's no correlation between area shot and bullet disappearance. I don't know if this is the... No. Bullet shot into his leg remained after resurrection. Yes, you should remember too. Even after the lieutenant pulled off his resurrection, there was still something remaining in his body. You're talking about the bullet in his leg. Yes, that's right. So why didn't that bullet disappear? Solved, indeed. It must be that foreign objects in his legs don't disappear. The answer isn't as beautiful as that. Beautiful? Staffer skills, phenomena in general, they have parts in them that work systematically, like physics or chemistry. Thus, I think it is different from the theory you suggest. Then, what's your theory, Inspector? Before I explain that, we must test your hypothesis. You believe that foreign objects in Lieutenant's leg simply don't disappear, but I think the likelihood of that being the case is to be low. Don't simply disappear, but I think... Okay. Among my notes, there's this one that stands out. So she claimed that they don't disappear. Foreign substances disappear on resurrection. Is it this one? No. How about this? Got involved with the death of the lieutenant? No, okay. No correlation between area shot and the bullet disappearance. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure if you remember, but there were cases when the bullets in his leg did disappear. Is that right? I'm not quite sure. It's okay. We can just replicate the circumstances. Wait, just a minute. The police are out. Don't you worry. Just need to shoot one more round then. The lieutenant resurrects and the bloodstains disappear. No one is hurt, so the worst we'll get is a fine. The lieutenant's son will take care of it if that's the case. So I shot his left leg first and his right leg second. Let's make a few incisions, check the wounds, see if the bullets remain. Alright. There's a bullet in his left leg, however in his right... Nothing, huh? That's right. As you saw, I clearly shot 2 rounds. But only the one remaining is the first. The only one remaining is the first shot. The second one ceased to exist. It's unfortunate, but the theory that foreign matter doesn't disappear from his leg has been proven false. I don't think it's all that unfortunate. However, that also adds credibility to my own hypothesis. And what hypothesis is that the first bullet remained but the second disappeared. What was the difference between the first and second rounds? Well, the second killed him, of course. And what does the second bullet have in common with all the other foreign objects that disappeared? When you think about that, the answer is clear. The similarity between the second bullet and the foreign objects that disappeared. The bullets I fired at his head and the blades that severed his carotid artery, and the second bullet got shot into his leg. The common trait they share is that they were all the direct causes of the lieutenant's death. I guess they were saying whereas finishers or confirmed killers may make it easier to understand now. The first bullet fired into his leg should have been fatal, but it ended up not being the direct cause of the lieutenant's death. That's why even after his revival it remained in his leg. That's right. The thing that ceased to exist on the lieutenant's revival is the object that takes his life. So, is this the beautiful answer you were referring to before? And should I call it efficient and beautiful? After all, there are still some ambiguities to solve, damn it. Such as the difficulty distinguishing between the physical body and the foreign substance. For his body only to remove the direct cause of death, you can't help but cause its resurrection efficient. Also, if the lieutenant's resurrection is directly related to his cause of death, we still have one more suspicion to resolve. Suspicion? When I ended his life with my own two hands, there was another commonality, no? Didn't you just tell me? The foreign objects all disappeared? No, besides that, there was one more thing. When I took his life myself, there was another common phenomenon. Because he died quicker. Once I got involved, began to resurrect before 15 minutes was passed. Mystery solved. For the past 3 weeks, the lieutenant has died and resurrected every 15 minutes on repeat. However, there has been an exception to that. When I killed him myself, the 15 minutes weren't able to play out entirely before death came once more. When I was in the finisher of the lieutenant's life, even upon reviving, his body state didn't return to 15 minutes before. It returned to the physical state directly before the finishing event. That's because the lieutenant's resurrection is based on his cause of death. Yes, that's right. Since the cause of death was my attack, his body returned to the time directly before my attack. So that's where our suspicion arises. There's that suspicion again. Okay, hear me out first. This time it'll be quite a seductive tale. Here's the premise for this case. There's this lieutenant who has a resurrection skill, and because he's old, it's now his time to die. However, when the old age takes him, he's revived once more, returning his body to his state 15 minutes prior. The lieutenant then dies 15 minutes later before reviving once more. The cycle continues. Yes, that certainly is the case, but in the story I just told, the lieutenant's cause of death is none other than old age. So the lieutenant's skill returns his body to the state it was before the cause of death took effect. But why, when he dies of old age, does it return his body 15 minutes prior? Is that because his body can't go further than 15 minutes? A good hypothesis is what I wish I could say, but again you're wrong. There's proof that his body can go back further than 15 minutes. It's right here. There's one case of a year's worth of memories disappearing. Yeah, the fever, exactly. This comes from something the lieutenant's son said. But in the past, the lieutenant suffered from a disease for around a year. Also, he died due to that disease, though he revived right after. Yes, I remember hearing that. I've been right here in this room the whole time. Then you must have heard the next part too. He said that the lieutenant lost about a year's worth of memories from his resurrection. From this we can be sure of two things. First, I can say that my hypothesis is correct. Since he fell ill a year before, his body resurrected to the state it was in before the illness. And second, it tells us that your hypothesis is wrong. So the maximum time limit for the lieutenant's revival skill is not 15 minutes. Also, this returns to our original suspicion. So how about, it considers life as a fatal disease, so I don't know, he goes back to being a fetus or something. Why, when the lieutenant dies of old age, can he not go back more than 15 minutes? I see. There are a number of possibilities, but here's what I'm thinking. The idea that the very premise is long. In fact, our lieutenant may not be dying of old age. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe he's being poisoned. Of course, this woman. Then the lieutenant is dying of what exactly? If your reason is correct, Inspector, there must be something else that's killing him within 15 minutes. Indeed, since he's only got another 15 minutes after his resurrection. Also, when the lieutenant revives, that something is completely purged from his body. Still, the lieutenant dies from it again 15 minutes later. Do you really think that's possible? I do, because the thing that makes it possible is in this very room. Curtain? Candle. Could it be the the IV fluid? Who was it that told the nurse change the IV fluid? Was it the son or was it the daughter? Damn. No matter how many times the lieutenant dies, no matter how many times he lives, he has those fluids continually supplying him with his nutritional needs. But what if the fluids being continually supplied to him contain no nutrition but a poison instead? If there were a poison that took a person's life every 15 minutes and it was being continuously administered, yeah, of course, what's the point if he's dying anyway to give him IV regardless? Then if the lieutenant were killed by said poison, the only thing that would be purged by his resurrection would be that poison. Thus, if the poison were stored and slowly administered from outside his body, these miracles that saved our soldier who turned the tides of war are simply a given. And if there's been someone at the lieutenant's side this whole time, guarding said poison. In fact, before we started our conversation in earnest, I went ahead and cut off the flow from his IV. Also, it seems like it's been 15 minutes since his last resurrection. But the lieutenant isn't dead. I mean, isn't dead? What did I? Dead. So he did know everything. Didn't I say it at the very beginning? This talk was going to go much easier with the two of us. I prefer quiet environments when I have important conversations, especially when I get to hear a criminal confess. The lieutenant's repeated deaths have been no accidents, they were murders. The murderer was his caregiver. あなたは犯人です。My father was a soldier. I think I have to end the stream here though. Let's leave it on a cliffhanger. Let's see if I can finish the game tomorrow, but Yeah, it's stuff is happening finally. It's I think this is sort of an interesting side story compared to Stafford case, but you know, more detail, like you know, focusing on one thing, which is, you know, interesting, but you know, not as exciting still as, you know, having many proper criminal cases. But of course, we are still in the somewhat beginning. She should go to jail for her 2,131 murders of this man. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because it's still it's not, I don't know, like it doesn't stay there, like it's not an attempted murder, it's a successful murder. So yeah, it's so many successful murders. But anyways, gonna head out. Thanks for watching. I'm Adventure Argonaut, all that. Bye bye.